Hi, everyone. It's Friday today. We have two guests here. I'll call them Molly and Craig. Please come here.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Molly. Molly.
And my name is Craig. Craig.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Well, then, Molly, would you show us the world map and then tell us which country is where?
Yes. So Japan is over here,
Mm-hmm.
and the United States is here, the green one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was born in the United States, but I've also lived in Kenya,
Mm-hmm.
in Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and in China,
Wow!
and also in England.
Oh my goodness, really? Wow. Then, well, I want you to tell us about it later.
Okay.
Good. Well, then, next, Craig.
Okay. Hi. So I was born in England, in the United Kingdom,
Mhm.
right there.
Mhm.
I lived in Australia when I was a child,
Mm.
and I have also lived in China in two
Mm.
places,
Wow.
and now I live in the United States.
Thank you. And here is another map. So, would you explain?
Sure.
Craig, I forgot to tell you, but this map doesn't have any names of the cities because
Oh, it's okay.
this is all about castles.
Okay. Castles are nice. Okay. So this is the United Kingdom in orange. This is Ireland here. So the United Kingdom is made up of 4 places. England, which is here, Wales, Scotland, and the islands,
Yes.
and Northern Ireland. I am from England, and I was born in Bradford, a city which is about here.
So, you say United Kingdom.
Yes, United Kingdom is everything in orange here.
We call that area England when we are growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe children in Japan now, they say United Kingdom. But to me, it's new.
Yes. So England is just one of the countries in the United Kingdom. We can also say the UK.
UK.
UK, United
see.
Kingdom, UK.
I see. UK.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Thank you very much. Then, Molly, please tell us. Well,
About the
first of all, you lived in a different places, but America. I don't know many places in America. So, would you tell us the places you ever lived?
Yes, there are a
It's a
lot
lot.
of them.
Really?
I've moved around a lot. So I was born in Montana, which is up here by Canada. I was born in Helena, Montana. And then when I was little, we moved to South Carolina, which is way over here
Yes.
on the other side of the country.
Yes.
And now I live in North Carolina in Asheville here. But in between that, I lived in several other countries, but also in New York City and Vermont. And that's it. Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
Well, Molly, whenever we say New York, we say Manhattan.
Yes.
So, would you tell us how big New York is?
Yeah. So Manhattan is just this little island here that has New York City in it. But New York State is all of this. So the state of New York is much bigger than just New York City on the island of Manhattan.
Yes. Until a certain age, I was thinking Manhattan is just New York.
It does seem that way because that's the part of New York that people talk about.
Yes. People talk
This is
about.
a lot of farmland and that sort of thing. So you don't hear about it as much.
So, what is the capital of New York?
The capital of New York is actually Albany. which is way over here. But New York City is way over here. So they're actually very far away from each other.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. Well, then, Montana, that's very north.
Yes.
Quite different from South Carolina.
Very different, yes.
Well, when do they start having snow?
In Montana?
Yes.
Maybe in October.
October?
Some late October, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Through
To March? Yeah. Yeah. A lot of snow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very windy and very cold.
Yeah. Well, then.
But very hot and dry summers.
That's interesting.
Yes.
But during this winter time, it's very difficult to get out, right? Get outside.
There's a lot of winter sports. So if you like skiing and cross-country skiing and all of ice skating, all of those things that you do in the winter, if you like those things, it's a great place. If you don't, it's not.
I see. Well, were you surprised after you moved to South Carolina because it's so different?
Well, I was very little. I was about 3.
Oh.
So I don't remember it much. But my father says that we were surprised. We would stand outside. It's very dry up here. It doesn't rain a lot, but it rains a lot down here. And my brother and I would just stand and watch the rain, trying to figure out when it was going to end, because it would rain for days. So we were surprised by some of the changes.
I see. Well, then, would you just point out California, because there are many Japanese people
Yes.
live in California.
Yeah, so California is way over here next to the Pacific Ocean. So it's closer to Montana than to where we are here.
That's right. And where is San Francisco?
Where is San Francisco? Oh, there it is. I haven't spent a lot of time in California. Yep, San Francisco is right there, and then Los Angeles is down there.
How about Las Vegas?
Las Vegas is in
Nevada.
Nevada.
Lower area.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Well, there is another city. There are many Japanese people. That's Washington, Seattle.
Yes.
Washington. Where is that?
Oh, way up here. So pretty close to Montana, actually, and close to Canada.
I've never been to Seattle, but I've heard some fish. It's very good.
Yes.
They have a very famous fish market, don't they?
They do,
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. Oh. Well, Molly, I'm going to ask you later, but thank you. Craig, would you explain your place? I mean...
So, yes. There you go.
What would you like to know?
Well, how long did you stay in England before you go to
Australia.
Australia?
So I was born in Bradford, and I stayed there until I was 5, and then we moved to Australia, and then we moved right back when I was 10, back to Bradford, and I grew up there, and then I left when I was 18 to go to Coventry and to go to university, which is somewhere around here, and then I met Molly in England too. We met each other, Dover Castle, Leeds Castle, down here in Canterbury, and that's where Molly and I met. And then we went to China, and then the United States. My mother lives way up here in Scotland, in the Scottish Highlands, in the mountains, near a loch, which is the Scottish word for lake.
It looks like very far up. They have snow, a lot of snow.
They do. It looks very far up, but it is a small country. So I think to get from here to here would take, I think, about 6 hours by train.
Oh, really?
So it's not too far, but it's quite. It isn't very snowy in Yorkshire, where I'm from, but it certainly rains a lot.
Oh, I see. Well, how about heard
Mm.
fog.
When I was a boy, I once walked to school because I lived very close to school, and I walked to school through the thickest fog I have ever seen. You could barely see 20 feet away from you before it would just turn into fog. It was It was very spooky, but really, really great. It was the thickest fog I've ever seen. I lived very near a river, the River Aire, and so the river would create a huge amount of fog in the morning in the valleys where I lived.
But it's very dangerous because you may fall into the river.
Oh, it wasn't that close. I wasn't that close to the river. I was just walking on the sidewalk.
Oh, I see.
But it was very fun when you're a kid and to walk in thick fog. You can't really see it. Everything's very quiet.
Spooky.
It's very spooky, yes.
Even now,
Mhm.
that's a lot of fogs.
I think it's probably changing in England because of climate change. I think everything is getting warmer in England. So there isn't as much snow and there isn't as much like bad weather as there used to be because the climate is changing. So.
Okay. Well, Molly, thank you for holding it.
Sure.
Well, I have just one question away from geography about Sherlock Holmes. Well, he's very famous in Japan.
Okay.
And some people would try to believe that he was a real person. Of course not, but thinking about he existed makes them feel excited.
Right.
And how was people's attitude toward Sherlock Holmes in England?
Oh, well, he's so famous. And you can go to his house. It wasn't his house because he wasn't real, but someone set up like a little pretend museum on Baker Street in London, and you can go to his house and look around and see his hat and his pipe and his syringe. So he's very, very famous, and they made a lot of television shows over the past 10 years or so. So he's still very, very famous.
I see.
He's still very, very famous indeed.
Then how about Agatha Christie? Is she famous in
Yes, very much because of Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple. And they're still making movies and they're still making television shows based on her books.
Yes,
And
even nowadays.
Even now, right. There's a new one that just came out based on one of her novels. Yes, the one set on the Nile, I think.
Oh my goodness.
Murder on the Nile.
Murder on the Nile,
or
something like that.
something, yeah.
There is a movie already long time ago.
Yeah, they
Yes.
made a new one. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think it's even come out
I
yet.
don't think
has
so,
it?
no.
Oh, it's going on now?
It's
think it's
going
about
to
to
come
come out.
out.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
going
it's
to
going
So
to be
she's
very
still
new.
very famous. She's the most famous mystery writer, I think.
Yes.
So, well, her after
Sherlock Holmes.
Conan Doyle.
Who
Oh,
wrote?
yeah.
She's probably the most famous writer,
Right.
but Sherlock Holmes is probably the most famous character.
I think so. I don't know if this is true, but I heard Bible it's sold the most. Next, Shakespeare. Third, Agatha Christie.
Wow.
I've
If only
heard
she
that
was here to enjoy
That-
that money.
because it's still selling a lot.
Yeah, people love them.
They're very short.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
They're
Like,
easy
you can
to
read
read.
them in you can read them very quickly.
Oh, I
Because-
can. I love to read, so I read, but it's very difficult for me to read in English.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, learning English is very difficult.
Yes. Yes. English is a hard language.
It is.
Yes.
Very
Well,
complicated.
Yeah, then Molly,
Mm-hmm.
would you tell us about Kenya? And
Sure.
also China. Oh,
Okay.
China is the one both of you went
Yes.
Yes,
together.
we went to together
I see.
after
We
we
taught
got
English
married.
in China, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, then how about Kenya, please?
So Kenya is here on the east coast of Africa, and we moved there when I was 7. My father was teaching at a university. He's a geographer.
Oh.
And so he was teaching at a university, and we were there. We came back when I was 10. So it was very different from South Carolina.
I think so.
Yes. Yes, it was very different, but it was, a big part of my childhood because I was so young when we moved there.
Yes.
And what would you like to know?
Food.
Food. Okay, so food was very different, but it had a lot of corn and potatoes and beans and greens, like green vegetables.
Oh, that's healthy.
It's very healthy. It's much healthier than what we eat here. Yes, it's much healthier. But there were a lot of things. This was in the 80s. So there were a lot of things we couldn't get that I missed a lot, like olives.
Tell them about mangoes.
And mangoes, yes. We lived on a college campus, the university campus, and there were mango trees everywhere.
Oh.
And my school was on the same campus. So at lunchtime, we would go to the mango trees and just pick mangoes. And they were so good. I've never had a mango that satisfied me exactly since I came home. So,
I see. Wow.
yeah.
And how about the weather?
Yep. It was hot, but not extremely hot, but it was very consistent. They had a long, what they called a long dry season and a long wet season when it rained all the time, and then a short dry season and a short wet season. And instead of summer, fall, and winter and spring, they put them into dry and wet seasons. And so in the dry seasons, it was always 85 and sunny. And in the wet season, it was maybe 70, so not a lot colder, but it felt cold. And it rained all the time. So those were kind of the two seasons that we had. But it was consistent. You knew exactly what it was going to be like every day.
I see. That's interesting.
Yes.
By the way, would you tell me how many minutes we spent already?
17.
17 minutes?
Yes.
Oh no, then would you come again?
Absolutely.
Then I have to stop now.
course.
So please say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. It was nice to talk to you.